I think Topeka's a wonderful place.
You can make a difference.
Yeah.
You can get stuff done here.
We should really celebrate our community here. It's not found everywhere, I'll tell you that.
Can you walk us through what's all in your belt? You got a lot of things in your belt.
Cheers. All
right.
Let's go.
All right. I like this podcast already.
This podcast is brought to you by Washburn University, a tight-knit college in a city of opportunity.
Washburn offers small classes and big experiences. It's public, prestigious, and has the lowest student debt in the state.
Above all, Washburn delivers a personalized education that you won't find at larger schools.
Learn more at washburn.edu. Welcome to Topeka Insider, another episode. We have a special guest today. We have Topeka Police Chief Chris Vallejo in the house with us. Welcome to the studio.
Hey, good morning. Just glad to be here.
Andy brought his taser in case you act up, John.
Hey, I just want to tell you a little behind the scenes for the viewers. I went to a gas station like 30 minutes before we recorded to get drinks for my co-host and Gabe behind the camera, and they all asked for energy drinks. And then the police chief shows up, and he's like, should I bring my Monster from my car? I was like, yes, please. We can all. So I think maybe we should just start with a little like Monster cheers.
Absolutely.
Gabe, you want to come on camera? And what flavor are you drinking, Chief?
This is Peachy Keen. That's my favorite. Ultra Peachy Keen. Not
And,
just Peachy
okay,
Keen.
I got the Java. You got the white Monster, and he's got a Celsius. Cheers.
All right.
Let's go.
All right. I like this podcast already.
See, we're already going in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Chris, could you give us a little rundown? What is it like being the police chief in Topeka, Kansas?
It's organized chaos. You know, it can go up, down every day. You really don't know what's going on. You make some people happy, other people unhappy with the decision. It's everything I wanted it to be.
It sounds like a great job.
How did you get here? What does it look like? What's your past look like? Are you from Topeka?
No, I'm actually from Austin, Texas. So I was
Okay.
born and raised there in Texas in the South. I spent 30 years at the Austin Police Department.
Wow.
It was 3 decades. So in
I've
March,
seen a lot.
Yeah,
Austin's changed a lot.
it has changed a lot since I was a kid. It's almost doubled in size, and I think it hit the 1 million mark recently.
Wow.
So that's an entirely different experience than here. But I sensed towards the end of that career that another door would be open for me if I had faith. And I'm a man of faith. I'm a Christian.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah, and the good Lord at one point in the early 2024 said, if you're looking for more, if you're looking for a mission purpose, go ahead and close this door and rely on me, and I will open another door. So towards the end of that year, this potential door came open, and I prayed about it, and the good Lord said, I will grant your wish to be a police chief. I'll choose where you're going to do that. So this is how I got here. So I'm sent here.
I did not realize this is where this is going to go. Come on, man. So I pastor this church that we're in, and guy right here is a leader in his church as well.
Yeah, super cool. That's awesome.
Man, that's cool, man. Just to see how your faith has really led the way in this. And it's cool for me just kind of knowing, our police chief is, in tune with the Lord and, pursuing his faith as a part of what he's doing. That's cool, man.
Yeah. So, I kind of joked a little bit about, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but the people that get to know me in the community at least know, if they get to know me, they know where I'm coming from. They know what guides me. So whether or not you agree or disagree, where the decision, where it came from, and what it is I'm here to do. Since I feel sent to be here, I feel like, I have a responsibility. I always, pray before I give a talk or before I do anything that, Lord, speak to me and through me in everything that I do.
Wow. Yeah, that seems like there's a slightly different perspective maybe than just like having a job. It's like the kind of the sense of like, hey, I've been sent here. So there's an intentionality that is maybe slightly different than just trying to work a job.
Right. No, it wouldn't be for a job. I had a job. I had a career. I had everything. I'm here for a specific reason. I'm here for purpose. The Lord directed my steps on where to serve that purpose. So.
What do you think that purpose is? Like, why Topeka? What do you feel like God placed you here for?
Well, generally, for me, it's to leave it better than when I found it. But when I saw what they were looking for in a police chief, and I matched it against the things that I was been able to successfully do, it was a good fit. It just felt everything fell into place when I interviewed here. When I came here with my wife, her name's Angie, and my boy Josh, who's with me at Washburn. We're all here. Everything fell into place. I never had to ask or want or worry about anything. Housing fell in place. Everything fell in place.
Wow.
It was all laid out for me because the Lord said, "This is where I'm going to go." I don't want you don't want me to worry about any small things other than my reason for being here. So that's how I know. I think Topeka is a wonderful place. Sometimes people joke, that there may be crime here or it's an unsafe city, but it's not like it's like any other city. It's not an unsafe city. It's just a place or a city that has places where people feel unsafe. I believe we're tackling that and we're addressing that very well for the last couple of years.
Wow.
Okay, so I know very little about the police chief, what you guys do, and the overlap. What is for people who don't know? What's maybe the difference between someone who just works, as a policeman versus the police chief? Obviously, you're the top dog, you're the head honcho. What does your role look like? Do you oversee them, or what's your direct?
Well, like any organization or company, they're stratified into different roles. You have your patrol officers, the ones I'm most proud of, the ones out there in the patrol cars that you see, that out there in the heat, out there in the cold, out there taking calls, out there with the community solving problems, out there on people's worst day. Those are the folks that we support. That's the base layer. Everything else above that is support. So we have our detective bureau who does investigations, our support bureau that does everything else that doesn't fall into those, community police officers, all those things. And then you have different layers of management. They all have a role. My role is to provide guidance, support, and the things that this organization needs to run forward. You need somebody at the top because I'm just one person in the entire organization, but you need someone to set the vision and support the officers and give them a purpose and a reason for coming every day to work. So that's what I do.
How many officers do we have in Topeka?
We have about 273-ish right now.
Wow.
With a small academy getting set up for August. And that's where we're at. It's always fluid in an organization.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
People retire and things like that.
I have a buddy who I think he's maybe in his second year as a patrol guy, and he loves it. He feels like he's just found his calling in life, and his name's Zeke Wood. Yeah. Just an incredible young man and just a fun guy. It's just fun just kind of hearing him tell stories about, because he patrols the area I live in.
Right.
And so every now and then I'll see something go down and I'll text him like, "Hey man, like anything I need to know about this?" He's like, "Nah, man.
Do you need a white monster?"
Yeah. How can I help? And he's like, "No, stay at home. I don't need your help."
Yeah. What's reassuring to me is, I come from a larger metropolitan area. This is more Midwestern.
Yeah.
And what I've found, and it gives me kind of a pulse on the organization, is a lot of the new police officers we get are referrals from someone that works here. So, I read their application books. They're looking for two things. They're looking to work with their friends, which is a small thing, but they're also looking for purpose.
Wow.
So I would gauge that as a success, because if you work for me as a patrol officer and you're asking someone to come work here with you, you kind of buy into what I'm selling.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
good. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Dude, so I'm curious, how did a guy from Austin become the chief? Like, what was it they were looking for when they found you from Austin?
They were looking for someone that was community-oriented, but really, truly community-oriented, somebody that's within the community, that spends time within the community, not just using the slogans, the words community-oriented policing, but somebody that would spend time to not only be within the community, to be part of the community and include the community in the things they do. So over the past year and a half, we've slowly incorporated more of the community into what we do. We've included a training advisory council, a group of splendid ladies who help us. They oversee our training academy curriculum. They give input. They help us develop the best training curriculum for our recruits that we can develop with community input. My ask from them is, are these? I don't expect them to be experts in every training that we do, but wherever you can contribute, is what we're doing, does it meet community standards? We have evidence-based standards, we have professional standards, KLETC standards, but also it's important that it meets community standards as well. So and the Community Policing Advisory Committee, a policy advisory committee, we just did a recent overhaul of all our policies, from policy number 1 to policy number whatever. We're about to finish that. It took over a year to do that. We included members of the community to look at our policies. Did we always agree on everything? No, but that input is important, and we do take their input, and we do when it's appropriate and correct. We include them into our policies on how we do things.
That's cool.
So
Wow.
being from Austin, moving to Topeka, you've been here for a couple years. Everyone that I know in Topeka always thinks the grass is always greener. And we're going to go move to Texas. Texas is bigger and better, all these things. Colorado. We're
Yeah.
getting out of Topeka. Topeka sucks. What is something that, and it can be something small, something big, that you're like, you know what? Topeka is better than Austin in this way. I would rather live in Topeka because Topeka has this, or because of this or whatnot. What's one thing that you would say Topeka's got on Austin?
Topekans talk to each other more. When you're
Let's go.
when you're in a community that of over 1 million people with 2 people in the metro, it's hard to define actually what community is.
Wow.
At that point,
Okay.
you're just kind of a number in that. So community policing in a large city is a little bit harder than it is here. I can go to community meetings, or I can just be at Dillon's. Yesterday, I was, shopping for the week's groceries and ran into some community members, and we talked about some issues in their neighborhood and things like that. And so I think it's easier to actually, what we say, be community in Topeka than it would be in Austin or a larger city.
Yeah.
So
You're going to run into the same people,
right.
like when you go to the grocery store or
Yeah.
like the schools and things like that.
It's easier to get to know folks. That's always challenging in a big city. So here it's much. I can get my message out a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
It's
can make a
interesting.
difference.
Yeah.
You can get stuff done here. Yeah.
It's interesting. Like I always heard when you go to New York City, like you pass people on the sidewalk, no one smiles. They don't look you in the eyes. They don't say hi. It's a very Midwestern thing to want to just kind of greet everyone you pass. Just kind of Midwest politeness.
Yeah.
You're at the grocery store. It's hard not to be like, hey, excuse me, how you doing? Hey, have a great day. And I had someone explain it to me because I experienced that in New York. Like, man, people are just mean here. And he's like, no. Think about it. If you're going to pass 1 million people on the sidewalk on your way to work, you don't have the energy to say hi to everyone you pass. In the Midwest, it's not like that, And it's so true.
Yeah. So we should really celebrate our community here. So it's not found everywhere. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Wow. Man. So what was it like? You kind of hit it on the head a little earlier, saying like, hey, it's like this everywhere. But the reason we started this podcast is because Topeka has such a dark cloud over its head in the way it views itself. So many in Topeka say things like what he just said, like, man, Topeka's the worst. There's nothing to do here. And one of the things people say a lot is the crime here is so bad. Like, it's a dangerous place to live. I saw some random clip online from some national thing that wasn't even based in Kansas, and Topeka caught a stray in this random national thing. They were like, oh yeah, don't move to a place like Topeka. And I was like, dude, what the heck? And I'm sure they'd never even been here before. So what's it like as the chief of police? Like, no one knows better than you. What's actually going on? What are the pros? What are the wins? What are the challenges that we need to work on?
Sure. I'll reemphasize, like any other city, Topeka is a safe city. We just have specific places where people feel unsafe and there's more crime. So that's pretty much par for the course. It's not like it's unsafe anywhere in the city to go.
Yeah.
I think, so I think it's putting it in perspective. And plus, over the past several years that I've been able to do research, and I've just, since 2020 and things, where things went a little bit differently, crime went up universally throughout the United States and throughout the world. Topeka was not was not left out of that.
So maybe Topeka thought this is unique to us. They didn't realize, hey, this is everywhere.
It was everywhere at the time, but you know what? Since 2023, we've had a dramatic decrease in what we call violent crime and Part 1 crimes and things like that. Next, I think this Thursday, Kim, if at 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, we're going to have a state of public safety mid-year report that we're going to put out at. I'll get the location for you, but it's going to be on social media from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Cool.
At a community center. We're going to give the state of public safety. It's going to involve dramatic crime drops over the past several years.
Wow.
I believe that's a factor of a lot of things. It's a trend that's nationwide. But what makes it unique to Topeka is we've revised the way we police, the way we put our resources out. like I said, that added community engagement, going out there and working and collaborating with our community to work on these things. The Capital Peace Project, I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No.
Our community violence interrupters that are out there behind the scenes, working on their own tempo, preempting things before they happen. You know, that's new. It's a new type of program. It's shown to work if you do it right, and Topeka has that.
Can you tell us, like, what is that program?
Community violence interrupters go out and they do just that. They interrupt things either before they happen or, if after something happens. They're out there. They have the credibility to be out there in the places and locations that maybe we don't.
So these are community people trained to identify potentially dangerous situations. Is that kind of the?
I would call them, the technical term is credible messengers, where maybe people with former lived experiences behind that have turned a new direction in their lives that are willing to get back.
Okay. So people who had experienced.
Right. So they're out there doing their things. We give them the information that they need, the data to make smart choices on where to be, and they go do their thing. So we're working it's another way of working in conjunction with the community to keep it safe. Last year we started our violent crime team that's called PACT. I don't know if you heard the acronym before, but the PACT team is the acronym is Police and Community Together. So when we came up with a name for that team, I wanted them to be mindful of what my philosophy is about working with the community. So the PACT team, which goes out there and does some fantastic things for violent crime suppression. Their other mission is to get information, get the trust of individuals that might give them information that we otherwise wouldn't have had we not developed those relationships. It's not the same as community police officers that go out there and take pictures and do things with kids. This is a little bit different, but it's still very much effective.
Wow, that's cool.
I have a less serious question, but this has been bugging me since you got here. Can you walk us through what's all in your belt? You got a lot of things in your belt.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Because it goes all the way around. You got all sorts of goodies in there. What's some of the highlights of what's in a police chief's belt?
Well, first, I want to preface this with not every police chief has a belt that looks like mine. It just depends. I think if you're a leader and you want patrol to go out there and do their thing, and you want people to be safe and you want people to be effective, you need to look like them and you need to walk the walk. So I'm one of the rare police chiefs that wears his vest. I have that on there. I have a camera that I carry, but it looked kind of weird in this setting right here.
So you're wearing a vest right now?
Right.
I just thought you were buff. You were just,
a little bit of that too.
Yeah.
I have a way to talk to somebody if something happens. I have my taser that I qualify for, my firearm, my handcuffs, my tourniquet in the back, everything that I'm trained for, everything that I'm asking patrol officers to carry, I carry it as well.
Wow. I will say I was shocked when you walked up to the door to see that you were in full uniform. I expected a police chief to be like, I don't know, in a suit or something, and man, you're in the full patrol gear.
That's I spent 30 years in a large agency, most of that in some form of patrol. 9 years as a patrol officer, a little stint as a detective, 6 years as a patrol sergeant working at night or on third shift, 2.5 years as a lieutenant working at night on third shift. A little bit of a stint in the chief's office and then coming back and being a patrol commander. So I understand 18 or more years of that 30 was in uniform.
Wow.
So I understand the basic, the backbone of what we do is patrol. So if I want to have legitimacy with people that are on working the streets, I need to, if they're out there hot, wearing all this stuff, then who am I not to wear this stuff if I'm asking them?
That's cool, man.
So that's the reason behind all the stuff on the belt.
That's great.
Could I get away with that? But I'm not as effective with wearing a polo shirt. So
Okay, so you have 30 years experience before you became the police chief down in Austin. Was it all in Austin?
yes,
Okay, so could you give us some stories?
stories.
Like what do you have any like cases like from your experience in like 30 years down in Austin? Like what was like the most exciting case you got to be a part of, or what like when your grandkids around Christmas are like, Grandpa, tell us some stories about being a police officer. Like what are the exciting moments you look back on?
Gosh, in 30 years we a lot.
Washburn, a proud sponsor of this podcast, wants to keep its homegrown talent here at home.
Graduates of Shawnee County high schools and homeschools might be eligible for the Thrives Scholarship.
Other local graduates may qualify for the Promise Scholarship, meaning you could go to Washburn tuition free.
Learn more about these amazing opportunities at washburn.edu.
Washburn is just right.
Just for you.
Now, back to the show.
I don't think I have any specific like stories that I could probably clean up enough to tell you about. But I remember
Gabe can clean it up later.
I remember way back as a lieutenant, I was working in the chief's office, and we I'm trying to remember how far that was. It was maybe somewhere after 2020, but we heard of an explosion in Austin, and then we had another explosion. Then we had another one. We had a serial bomber in Austin, Texas. So that was interesting being at the chief's office at that time and seeing that unroll because it was a large scale incident that was making international news. And we had this person that was sending bombs to people.
Like mailing them?
Mailing them in. And we had some fatalities because of that. It was an interesting time because you don't really set up for that kind of policing.
Sure, yeah.
You can't send out extra patrol cars. Like you have to do some investigation and trace some things.
Wow.
I had people calling me in the office, people I've known, neighbors, family, scared, unsafe.
Yeah.
But how do you protect them? I can't send out extra patrol cars that way. This is unusual. So
where would you send them?
Right. So that was a major event in Austin, Texas at the time.
Do you remember how they ended up catching the guy?
He made a mistake when he mailed something at UPS or something that had his name or had his face, and we traced it back and we got him. So
wow,
there was hundreds and hundreds of federal people, local people, state people, and I got to sit there and watch that unfold and be a part of that.
Wow.
So that was probably one of the most interesting stories.
Yeah.
I think more for me, it's the eras of decades of work, from, going back starting in 94 to, up until now even, living through different time frames, the community policing era, the go get them and arrest everybody era, the 2000s when we became the Homeland Defense era, when the plane struck the tower.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of police officers today don't remember that.
Yeah.
I was a young police officer when September 11th that happened.
Wow.
That changed policing for a long time.
Wow.
That we just didn't know what was going on at the time. We were guarding everything.
Wow.
What were some of the changes that happened as a result of that?
A lot more technology, a lot more Homeland Defense oriented, a lot more security, a lot more national profile. We weren't just a small town. You couldn't just be a small town police department anymore. You had to be wrapped into the federal level and understand what Homeland Defense is.
So was that like understanding what national targets were in your city, like that kind of a thing?
Understanding your threats, understanding your vulnerabilities, understanding national intelligence. How do you fit into that? Because the towers were one example, but you're not immune to that from that. As a small city, we have our capital, we have anything. That's those things you have to be mindful of. So, and then getting into the 20s and how to police in a COVID environment, how to police in a COVID environment with civil unrest. So those things we're trying, and in any police department, we lost a lot of people on the way, but we have a lot of resilient police officers in the United States who stuck it through and are still here today. So that's where we are. We're emerging out of that. And so far, we're making a recovery back to where we should be. But we have to be mindful of that as a police profession where we've been.
When you told us that there's 270-ish patrol officers in Topeka, when you hear that number, is that an adequate amount of patrol officers, or are we short? Are you always looking for more?
I'm looking for to staff what is right. So we're unfortunately going through some budgetary concerns in Topeka right now, so that's going to affect the number of those officers. I have a responsibility to deliver a certain quality of service, but I also want to deliver what I call some ancillary services. My community police officers, my motorcycle officers, my PACT that I talk about, the violent crime team, my intelligence officers out there that are working with the federal entities and things like that. I want to increase that and want to make sure the patrol is adequately staffed. But there are a lot of things that I want to bring to this police department that take people.
Yeah.
So that's always a balance between that. How do I weigh what I have versus what I want to do?
Yeah, absolutely.
So policing seems to have changed a lot in the 30 years. Where do you see it going?
I see a big. It's kind of like goes in steps or stages. You know, we started in this new what I call just making up my own term, the technology era. You know, the booming of technology. How does it fit into? I get asked often, you know, how does technology fit into policing? Well, we've had it for a while. I'll give you an example. When I started, I'm going to date myself. In '94, we were handwriting our police reports, and then we evolved in little Toshiba laptops. And the old guys said I'm never going to use that technology. And now in this stage, you know, if I asked a young police officer a handwriter police report, I don't know if they could. So
you write it in cursive? What's that?
Yeah, exactly. So the evolution of technology and how it fits in, you know, we can't do anything without email and technology and body-worn cameras. We have our real-time crime center, and there's things are developing at such a rapid rate. As a profession, I think we need to also do a better job of communicating what we're using and why.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's I'd say the future is much more technology oriented. So
On that same line, does the police department, are they using AI in any way that you think would be interesting?
Yeah.
very small facets of it. I think there's more advanced things that are in the process. You know, I've considered AI in report writing. Trying to speed up the officers, the way they write reports. So that's something I've been approached on that I'm considering. It's kind of more of an experiment. I've been asked to explore implement technology that would turn the audio of when we turn on the cameras and turn that into a report, AI generated report.
Oh yeah.
So what I've been asked to do, if there's funding from a researcher I know, is can we test it to see if it actually does what it say it does?
Yeah.
And see if it actually saves time. If it saves time, then it's something might be worth implementing. If it doesn't save any more time, then it's more hassle.
So like it'll write the report from the camera for what it picks up and sees. That way you don't have to give it details.
Right. So that's one way of like, wow, that's a game changer if it works.
Yeah.
If it works.
Save a lot of time so you're not having to watch every minute, every second of the video.
So we've come a long way from the, on this date I responded.
Yeah.
That's where I came from.
Yeah. Are there, I saw there are like cameras now that I think maybe use AI to like track like license plates and stuff like that.
We do have license plate readers, and that's a point of contention.
Is it really? What's the contention there?
Is that we're using them randomly and at will. Those are tightly regulated. Between me and the sheriff's department, this technology predates me by over a decade, but it's been very helpful in finding lost people, wanted people.
People that are lost.
Yeah. If you're driving around and you're lost, and we can see your license plate, we can.
Wow.
We have a reason that has a hit. We're just not out randomly looking at things.
Okay.
That's the one thing. We just don't have the time for that, and keeping it in a secret database somewhere in my office, it's just not there.
Okay. So that's the contention is people are like, hey, you're tracking normal people.
Right.
And kind of keeping tabs on
And Chris is
city.
saying they're not that important. They don't care. He doesn't care.
Okay, so that's kind of a point of contention, but that's not really how it's being used.
I think police departments need to do a better job of explaining why. And I think in a community, if your chief, your police department can explain why they need it, and you understand it, then we should have the benefit of the doubt to use it.
Sure.
Maybe in Topeka, before I got here, we didn't do such a good job of explaining that. So I know that's a point of contention. But those things are narrowly focused. That we have Supreme Court law that keeps it narrowly focused, that use it just for a reason. Just the same way as you would want to go in your house and grab some papers or books. It's the same thing with intellectual property, same thing with digital stuff, same thing with your license plate. When you're out and about, you have a little less expectation of privacy when you're out on Noto or just making things up around the highway or Kansas Avenue. Yeah. So those things, but the community, I think, would expect us to be focused. Last year unfortunately we had 2 homicides that were done on the same day, and there was a kidnapping of a young child, and we set up the alerts, we set up the FBI. Within that day, we found that child. We found them to technology
through that cameras.
A little small town in Illinois.
Whoa!
Wow! Out there, we
from Topeka, they booked it all. Wow!
Right. So technology to track the path, and some small town, I forgot the city, patrol policeman out there who was tracking.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Said, "Wow, there it is." With in 1994, in the 90s when I started, that would have been impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
You would have been gone.
So we do have the capability to do wonderful things for it, and as long as we, I think we're transparent,
Right.
we're narrowed, specific, tailored, and focused on what we do. I think it's okay. But I understand community concerns, and in Topeka, the case is that we use it for a purpose.
So you're saying basically like it's not just on watching everybody, but like when something bad happens and we need to find someone, we can like turn it on to try to find that. Yeah, that makes sense. That's interesting, man. What are some of the big challenges as you're stepping in this role? You're 2 years into police chief. What are the big challenges just for you personally being in that role?
Just as Chris?
Yeah.
I guess, I'm a perfectionist by heart. I want to leave it better than when I found it. So the challenges are to like how to do that in a maybe a budgetary era that's correlating the opposite direction of where I want to go.
You can't do all the things you want to do.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, so I was a Marine for 6 years before I started here, so I'm used to more with less. But how much less is less? So
Right.
those are the decisions that keep me up at night. Like, how does this police department look? How does it function in a realistic environment where people are mindful of wanting to pay more in taxes, and the revenue is not where it is, but they still want to feel safe. So
Yeah.
those are the things that the challenges that I faced.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't even think correct me if I'm wrong. This is probably part of your job is helping manage the budget. You have a certain amount of money that you get to use for staffing and, all the expenses you guys have as well. I mean, I didn't even think about that, but that's probably part of your job is managing that budget.
Absolutely, and some people, we do take up the largest chunk of the budget. Public safety does in any city, but 86% of that budget's already spoken for before I even look at the books.
Really?
Because that's your people.
The salaries.
Well,
Sure.
just like any organization,
Yeah.
your human capital is
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
it's laid
absolutely.
out. So and then you have your other stuff to pay for technology, for cars, for things like that.
Yeah.
Then you have a little left over that it would be nice to do something with, like something forward thinking or innovative or community oriented. So
Yeah.
What is the best police cruiser that police have ever used?
the best.
Like
make
the
them all?
Crown Vic or the Ford. What are they using now? Is it the Ford Escape?
Ford Explorer is
Explorer?
what they're using now. The best, when growing up, I loved my patrol cars, and all the guys do. We have a newly designed Ford Explorer that's out there. If you see the all black one,
Those are sweet.
yeah, we're fading out the black and white because the white portion of it is like a stick-on kind of thing, and that thing gets bent and bumped and tattered, and it starts
sure.
looking crappy.
Gets
afterwards.
scratched up. Yeah.
If you could pick any make and model of a car to be the police cruiser, what would you pick?
Probably a Corvette. I mean, yeah. But then I'd have to wouldn't keep it very long before they ask me.
Is
to
there
get it.
is there like a Dodge SUV that gets used sometimes?
Well, we have Dodge Durangos as well.
Okay, yeah.
We sometimes we have to, depending on inventory, just think every year, right about the midpoint in a few months, every police department's thinking, I've got to order the cars for next year. So we're always looking for inventory or fighting for the same amount of cars.
Do you get a say as the Topeka Police Department, or is there like a national agreement with, say, Ford or whatever? Like, could you theoretically pick whatever you wanted?
Sure, it's just got to be practical. It's got to be, it's
got to fit the budget.
Cost effective, got to fit the budget. And police officers are carrying more and more stuff.
Oh, so it's got to
and
have space.
It's got to have a little bit of space. And some of my guys are up to 6'8" tall. So a little Ford Escape.
Corvette's not gonna.
No, a Corvette won't work. It'll work for
gonna
me.
work
It'll work for me just fine. But some of my guys, they need a little more space. So that's vehicles are cool. I grew up in the Ford Crown Victoria era. Where we had sedans and slow move away into SUVs, and you'll see everything out in their brother out in police world. I guess it's a local culture, but
Okay.
Ford products probably going to be the number
And do
one.
they custom make those? Like, do they buff out the engine and things for police departments specifically?
have a police interceptor package?
Okay, yeah.
And then of course I think the civilian version has a floor shifter, where this one would have one here, so you can use your computer,
Gotcha.
which is mounted to the
What
floor.
did you call it? A police what package?
Interceptor?
Police interceptor. I'm gonna
Could
get
I
one of
go
those.
to the dealership and be like, hey, man, can I get the police interceptor package?
I don't know.
Especially if we said, "Hey, my friend Chris sent me down here."
Chris said I could have it.
those things eat up gas, so that's another budget.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
The fuel budget.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, if I'm just putting around town, I could afford it.
Well, you want to switch to some rapid fire?
Yeah, man. So we just have some Chris, as a citizen of the city of Topeka, questions.
okay, I'll change
And these
gears.
are rapid fire. So first thing that comes to your mind, do you have a favorite local restaurant?
Yes, and I think it's called the Wheelbarrow.
The wheelbarrow.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's a vibe. Noto's a kind of a vibe. It's different than Kansas Avenue.
Right,
So
yeah.
we let whenever we want to go to, my wife Angie and I go to Noto, we're shopping in the antique stores, or she
Yeah.
is, and I'm with her, and we gotta hit the Wheelbarrow there. They have some
Wheelbarrow's so good.
fantastic sandwiches.
I think that
there.
my wife would join you on that. She loves the antique stores and wants to hit the wheelbarrow too right after that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now,
Local coffee shop. You a coffee drinker?
I don't drink coffee, but I spend a lot of time in coffee shops. So the Coffee Bean
Coffee bean.
Yeah.
over on
yeah.
Kansas. That's
the downtown location.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's walking distance from the law enforcement center, so we go up there to
Yeah, yeah.
have meet with community or just talk and things like that. So it's a good vibe.
Yeah, love it.
Love it, man. You're doing a home project.
Home project. No, I pay people now in my.
Okay.
Well, that's
let's,
a good preface for this question.
let's see if the theory holds
If you're
true.
doing a home project, are you going to Home Depot, Lowe's, or Menards?
Primarily I go to Lowe's, and then if I go to, I have to stop calling it Maynard's. I got corrected on that one. when I got
You're an out of towner.
I was talking about Maynard's and like, dude, you got to stop saying.
I think that's a vote from Menards.
No, heck no, that's not. He said Lowe's, man.
So Lowe's, and then we go to Menards for different things. So there's kind of like the Walmart of building supplies.
awesome.
It's a little bit different. So you can buy your sink there and some monsters at the same time, and
And some
it's kinda
cereal
cool.
for your dog.
I think you could even buy some roast beef there while you're there. So
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting store.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it depends on who's got what and what's on sale. So
Yeah.
Did you hit any potholes on the way over here today?
not over here today, but I am cognizant of them.
He's because he avoided all of them. He knows how to.
When I got here, I started in January of 25. I got here a little earlier, and it was we had like 14 inches of snow.
Yeah.
When
probably
you first got to Topeka.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
the big snow.
That's when you got here. Oh,
Yeah, so I had to wait for some of it to blow over, and then we got here, and that's when I found out, more about potholes, because you really can't see them, when there's snow on there.
Right. Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
something.
Lose an axle.
Yeah, so that's also the 14 inches of snow is probably 12 inches more than what I've seen in my entire life, living in Texas. So I broke a
that's
record.
true.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, you
Just
came at the
driving.
wrong time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a lot even for us.
Yeah, it was interesting. Being in my rental home, we moved in, we hired some guy had to find some guy to come shovel the driveway so we could get in. And then parts of it still needed. So I got introduced to the big snow shovels, which I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting out there in 0 degrees,
Yep.
wondering what I got myself into.
Yeah.
Like-
Like, why did we move here?
Like Lord, I'm being obedient.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I'm here, but I've never seen this much snow.
Why have you abandoned me?
Just wait till you're here for a couple of winters. You get one of them snow blowers.
Yeah, bro.
Real nice.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Go to date night. If you're going to go out with your wife, where are you going? What are you doing?
Date night. In my age, date night is more like going out to get something to eat, going to the bookstore, and things like that, and shopping around and taking Angie where things where she finds interesting. But I value that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very much. I just. I think I do more of the quote date night if we were out of town, where I'm somewhere else.
Yeah,
Sure.
No, hey,
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Date night looks. It's funny. We asked that question to everybody, and everyone's answer is very different.
Yeah.
On what they consider a date night.
Yeah.
Some people laundry list this 5-hour evening of we're going to do this and this and this. Some people are like, we're just going to watch a movie without the kids.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like, that's
Right.
great.
For me in June, it was date vacation because we spent a couple weeks out of the office. I get out maybe once a year, and we went to Texas for a little while, but we flew over to California on Catalina Island and spent
let's go.
we spent 4 days there on a beautiful estate overlooking the beach. That was a date vacation.
Yeah,
And,
love it.
That was beautiful. I almost considered, I don't know, is this a good time to retire? But I came back. So.
Yeah, love it. Okay, if you could change one thing about the city of Topeka instantly, what would you change?
Wow, I'm setting myself up on no matter what I say.
No.
How
How about this? Let's frame it like this. What's one thing Topeka's missing?
I think more things to do, more stuff for date night.
Yeah.
I think the Kansas Avenue is budding and growing. I would love to see that continue more. I mean, Noto has a vibe. Kansas Avenue has a vibe. I think there could be more, and there's growth there. There's growth happening there. I see Topeka as a town with a lot of potential. Some folks see empty buildings and abandoned buildings. I see that could be a housing, that could be a nice apartment complex, that could be a very cool. In the warehouse area, I see empty buildings that could be a brew pub.
Yeah.
So those are things that I see there. I think it has a lot of potential. I'd like to just see more things for Topekans to stay in Topeka and not have to go somewhere else.
I got a final question for you. And we'll end our time with this one. What is your favorite crime show?
That is a great question.
You'd think that I hate crime shows.
There it is. There it is. Can't stand them.
Yeah, but my wife Angie, she loves the British crime shows.
Yes.
Yep.
The murder mysteries.
Yeah, I don't.
They're so good.
I don't get them, but
He
she
disagrees.
But she'll watch them. I mean, she knows all the British crime shows and things like that, which is cool. But I don't watch crime shows. Man, I don't know if that's weird, but
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you work it all day. You don't want to go back to work when you get home and get into that world.
Most of the time it's like that's not the way it works.
Yeah.
You got ever seen the typical crime movie or the crime show where they're going after the bad guy and the SWAT team's about ready to make entry with all their gear on, and then you got the detective with the pea shooter that in his suit that says, "Get out of the way and let me go first." That would never happen.
Have you ever seen a police show or movie that you felt like was kind of accurate?
Some of the older ones that had to do with patrol. I don't remember the names of the shows, but they were more like on like a day in the life of patrol officers.
Sure. Yeah.
Those are a little bit more accurate when you start getting into the ones that have to do with the organization, the chief. That becomes more dramatic.
Yeah. What's the End of Watch? Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh,
I've heard from patrol guys that one's like the most accurate.
Yeah, it was. When it came out, I was still pretty young in Austin. We got to do a pre-screen of that, and
that's cool.
So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's brutal that it's the most accurate because it's like a brutal movie.
Yeah, not every career ends up like the way they did,
Yeah.
but just being on the street and seeing the things they do.
Yeah.
awesome.
It's interesting. Well, man, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for what you do. Man, it was just a pleasure having you in the studio with us.
My pleasure too. Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right.